My name is Ethan, and I've always had a fascination with the supernatural. When I heard about the infamous haunted hotel on the outskirts of town, I couldn't resist the temptation to experience the paranormal for myself. But little did I know that my curiosity would lead me to a night of terror beyond my imagination. The old hotel stood as a dark silhouette against the moonlit sky. Its crumbling facade and boarded-up windows told tales of a once grand establishment, now abandoned to decay. The locals spoke of chilling apparitions, ghostly whispers, and doors that slammed shut on their own. These stories only fueled my excitement. Ignoring the warning glances of the townspeople, I checked in and was given room 333, the most infamous and haunted room in the hotel. I felt a mix of fear and exhilaration as I climbed the creaking stairs, the air growing heavier with each step. Upon entering the room, I felt an eerie coldness that sent shivers down my spine. The flickering candlelight cast dancing shadows on the faded wallpaper, and the atmosphere felt charged with an inexplicable energy. As night descended, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Strange noises echoed through the hall's soft footsteps, faint laughter, and eerie moans that seemed to come from nowhere. Determined to uncover the truth, I set up a camera and audio recorder, hoping to capture any evidence of the hotel's haunting. I lay in bed, my senses alert, waiting for any sign of the supernatural. Minutes turned into hours, and as the clock struck midnight, the room seemed to come alive. A soft voice whispered my name, and the door to the bathroom creaked open on its own. Fear washed over me, but my curiosity outweighed my terror. I reached for the audio recorder and played back the recording. The silence was broken by the sound of a woman sobbing a mournful cry that sent a chill down my spine. The hairs on my neck stood on end, and I felt a cold presence in the room. Over the next few nights, the activity in room 333 intensified. Objects moved on their own, and eerie apparitions appeared in the corner of my eye. Vanishing before I could get a clear glimpse, I sought solace in the local historian, Mr. Jenkins, who had spent decades researching the hotel's haunted history. He warned me that the spirits of the hotel were vengeful and dangerous, and I should leave before it was too late. But I was determined to unravel the mysteries that lay within the walls of room 333. One evening, as I lay in bed, I heard the sound of faint footsteps approaching. My heart pounded in my chest, and I braced myself for whatever was to come. The doorknob turned, and the door slowly creaked open. A spectral figure emerged from the darkness, a woman with flowing white hair and tear-filled eyes. She wore a blood-stained gown, and her ethereal form hovered above the ground. Her presence filled the room with an overwhelming sense of sorrow and despair. I mustered the courage to speak. "Who are you?" The apparition turned its gaze towards me, and a soft voice resonated in my mind. "I am Isabella," she whispered. This was my room, a place of pain and suffering. "Why are you here?" I asked, my voice shaking. "I seek peace," Isabella replied. "I was murdered in this room, betrayed by the man I loved." My heart went out to the tormented soul before me. I could sense her anguish, and a deep sense of empathy washed over me. I wanted to help Isabella find the peace she so desperately sought. With the guidance of Mr. Jenkins, I conducted a seance in room 333, hoping to make contact with Isabella and help her find closure. The air crackled with energy, and a feeling of unease settled over us. Isabella's presence filled the room, and I could feel her pain radiating from the walls. She spoke through the seance, recounting her tragic tale of betrayal and murder. Her words were filled with sorrow, and I could sense the lingering anger that bound her to the mortal realm. As the seance continued, the atmosphere in the room grew tense. Objects flew across the room, and the temperature dropped to an icy chill. It was as if the spirits of the hotel were trying to prevent Isabella from finding peace. But we persisted, and I urged Isabella to let go of her pain and embrace the light. With each passing moment, her form seemed to fade, and a sense of tranquility washed over the room. Suddenly, The seance was interrupted by a violent force, and I felt a presence looming over us, an entity far more malevolent than Isabella's troubled spirit. It was as if a darkness had taken root within the hotel, latching onto the pain and sorrow of the deceased. The room trembled with an unseen force, and the air was filled with a cacophony of haunting whispers. I could feel the malevolent energy building, threatening to overwhelm us. Mr. Jenkins shouted, "We must leave now. The darkness is too powerful." We scrambled to our feet, but the door to room 333 slammed shut, sealing us inside. Panic consumed me, and I felt as if the walls were closing in around me. Mr. Jenkins desperately tried to open the door, but it was as if an invisible force held it shut. The whispers grew louder, their sinister voices echoing in our minds. "We should have never disturbed the spirits," Mr. Jenkins cried, his face pale with terror. In a last-ditch effort, I pleaded with Isabella's spirit to intervene. "Isabella, please help us. We only sought to bring you peace." Suddenly, the room fell silent, and the malevolent force seemed to recede. The door slowly creaked open, and we rushed outside, gasping for breath. From that day on, I could never forget the horrors that unfolded in room 333. The haunted hotel held secrets far darker than I could have imagined, and I realized the danger of delving too deep into the mysteries of the supernatural. I left the hotel behind, its haunted halls forever etched in my memory. The spirits that lingered there were not to be trifled with, and I had learned my lesson the hard way. The echoes of that night still haunt my dreams, a chilling reminder of the malevolent forces that dwell in the shadows.